Senior, the president of our board, and he is going to give you all the announcements. Yay, yay!
Good morning, everybody. How are we today? Great. Good, okay. Thank you for coming today. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Nevada. We are a new thought community based on the teachings of Ernest Holmes, which revolves around the law of attraction and the basic principles of positive thinking. No matter where you are in your spiritual path, you are welcome here. I have to have a script because I haven't been here 2 weeks. I forgot what to say. We're happy you're choosing to be here this morning, and we have been expecting you, so I thank you all for not disappointing us. As we know, today is Father's Day. Do we have any fathers in the house? So as you know, on Father's Day, I like to all celebrate the fathers that we have in the house, but I also like to celebrate the fathers that have moved on. I know we all know somebody who has moved on, whether it's your own father or another father. So if we all could just have a moment of silence for that, it would be really appreciated. We all know about Murphy's Law. Anything can go wrong, will go wrong. But have you heard of Cole's Law? It's thinly sliced cabbage. Which days are the strongest? Saturday and Sunday, because the rest are weekdays. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta! And finally, when does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. I did those in honor of my dad, who, anybody here who has met my father, you know that he was the king of dad jokes, and so what better way to honor him than to throw a couple jokes. I have some other jokes too, and maybe after service, if anybody wants to hear those, I can tell you those. Those are not pulpit jokes. Also, in celebration of June, as you know, every month I like to do a different affirmation for everybody, for all of us to say together, and June is probably my favorite one, because again, it harkens back to my dad. His favorite saying was, absolutely. Last week, I don't have it here, but I read actually 2 weeks ago, I read a description of the word absolutely, and in basic terms, it is the most affirmative, positive thing that you can say. It's even higher than yes. It's even, absolutely is a very strong declaration. So if you will respond to me with the things I'm about to tell you with the most full-throated, deeply passionate absolutelys, you will all feel the power. All right, you ready? Okay. In celebration of June, is this the month I say yes to growth? Absolutely. Do I say yes to joy that doesn't need a reason? Absolutely. Do I say yes to acceptance, real, deep, and unconditional? Absolutely. Do I say yes to spirit moving in my life, starting here, starting now? Absolutely. Do I say yes to letting go of what no longer serves me? Absolutely. Do I say yes to become everything I was born to be? Absolutely. June is mine to live, to love, and to shine, and when I am asked if I'm ready for it, I say, absolutely. Thank you all. Give yourselves a hand. That was a good one. I like this one. I'm going to be sad when this month's over. Every month I say, I'm going to come up with a different one. I'm like, I can never top this one. All right, that one's good. All right, if you'll please make sure you silence your cell phones. As we know, cell phones are contagious. One goes off, they all go off. And the person who taught me that is our speaker next week, who is Dave Friedman. He will be speaking on something that I am not quite aware of yet, but I'm sure it's going to be good. He likes to change his titles at the last minute, so we're just going to go with, it's going to be Dave Friedman's talk. Upcoming events, inside your bulletins, you will see that there is a list of all of our upcoming events. Please check that out when you get a chance. There's a lot of happenings and goings on here at the centers. We got karaoke, we have dancing and music. I know at the end of the month, on the 27th, last Friday of the month, there's going to be an awesome jazz fest here. There's coffee and food. I believe I saw that there was going to be like burgers, smash burgers. It's going to be amazing. The show's free, and if you want the dinner, it's $10. So it's awesome. Most importantly, too, opening up for the jazz band will be our very own White Feather. So don't forget to come and support him. Also, I didn't get a chance last week because I was not here, but I want to congratulate you on your job at the Menifee. Menifee's Got Talent. Yeah. That was amazing. You killed it.
You did awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. And as you know, coming up July 2nd, the first Wednesday of every month, we have our drum circle here. Last month was great. I want this next month to be even greater. It's going to be July 2nd. Yeah, at 6:30. Sorry, it's one of those days. And White Feather runs that. If you want to say something about it real quick to everybody.
You know, as everybody realizes, that's my favorite time of the month. It's all about the actual drum. It's all about the love of Earth Mother Gaia. Come on out with your friends and experience the actual drum like you've never experienced before. We're the only drum circle in Southern California where you have live musicians playing music. So Sister Bear will be here with the central drum from the reservation. The chief of the Vishenga tribe is usually here. Him and I are virtually like brothers, and he's here to bring his energy. I have my dear brother Cliff Crites from our Twisted Trees project, which we are now working on our second CD. I'm happy to still push my own music back, but we're working on another CD, and when it's all over with, I'll soothe you down with a beautiful sound bath. So I'll see you there next month.
Yeah, it's such a great deal. We asked for a $10 love donation, and you get not only do you get the drum circle, you get the sound bath, and you get live music. Come on, why aren't you there? Everybody should be there. Make sure you stay after service today. We have coffee and some treats, and there's some cookies back there that cannot wait to dive into. And sorry, they look really good, but I didn't want to eat one before I had to talk. If you'd like to become a member, please find the blue membership form over there on the table. Put it in the glass bowl in the back. If you have a prayer request for the week, please place it in the prayer box located underneath that portrait of Ernest Holmes over there. Or you can see one of our practitioners. For more information, visit our website at cslmv.org, Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. You all know it. Share it, like it. It helps our algorithm. It helps people know us, find us, and see us. And before I intro Eloise to come do her beautiful chanting, will you please say it with me? Open minds.
Open minds.
Open hearts.
Open hearts.
Open arms.
Open arms.
Open at the top.
Open at the top.
Have a great week.
Absolutely.
Take a deep breath with each gong. Bring it into your body. My chant this morning is the Gayatri Mantra. The Sanskrit words mean, O God the protector, the basis of all life, who is self-existent, who is free from all pain, and whose contact frees the soul from all troubles, who serves the universe and installs the creator and energizer of the whole universe, the giver of happiness, who is worthy of acceptance, the most excellent, who is pure, and the purifier of all. Let us embrace the very God so that it may direct our own mental faculties in the right direction. Om Bhurva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurva Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And on this very special Father's Day, the day we honor all the men in our lives, our fathers, our grandfathers, our sons, our uncles, every man that we know, that were our teachers, that were our leaders, that were our past and with some of us are present. Honoring the masculine and honoring the divinity in each one of us is what we do on every Sunday. We honor the divinity within. And we connect with that God being that is part of us, that motivates us, gives us our strength, our power, our energy, our ingenuity, so that we can create whatever comes into our minds. We are the creators. We are, each one of us. We hold the truth in our hearts, in our minds, and we know God is all there is. In my gratitude for this awareness, I release my word into the law of mind with that perfect understanding. I am God, God dwells within me. And together we say, and so it is. Now a reading from the Science of Mind textbook by Ernest Holmes. There is a law in physics which says that water will reach its own level by its own weight. There is a law of metaphysics corresponding to it. Consciousness will externalize at its own level by its own recognition. We may call this faith, we may call it embodiment, we may call it whatever we will. There is something in the universe which responds and corresponds to our mental states. Therefore, it is imperative that we turn from the relative, because to view limitation is to impress upon the mind and accentuate the state of consciousness which produced it. It is not always easy to turn from fear, from poverty and pain, and from the hurt of human existence to that which is perfect. But whoever can do this, and will train himself to do it, will be like the man healed of blindness. He had little comprehension of how it had been done. He could only say, "Where I was blind, now I see." And so it is. And now our Sunday message is from Woodward, and we are fortunate to have her. And the talk is, according to this, it's never too late to remember who I am. So let me introduce Woodward, RSCP.
Would you help put the music stand over here and bring me the mic so I can come up here?
Who are you asking?
White feather. Oh. He was listening. Oh. And I'll need the mic. I'll bring the chair over.
And what else do you want to do?
The mic, and then I need the music stand over here so I have it from my. Yeah, right.
And when you have this move too, you be careful.
Yeah. Right there by the mic. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Thank you. We'll get set up. I've been here before, so you know I don't like to stand for too long. So I'll stand here. Thank you. Great, yes. So as I've said before when I've been here, I'm a teacher, not a speaker particularly. But there are always things that we can share, and I like to make it personal. And so first of all, I'd like to thank Eloise. You know, Eloise, you got part of my talk when you spoke. So that means that there is one mind, right? And when I'm here, I always think that I'm speaking to the choir. You know, the choir still needs to practice every once in a while. And so today, that's what I'd like to do with us, and I'd like to make it deep. We're all here, and we've heard the words of Ernest Holmes. We've heard many speakers, and it's great to listen to. It's great to be uplifted and energized. But there's a teaching word called inculcate, and that means to take it in and make it part of you, so much it's a part of you that there's nothing else there but that. And so I brought the books that I'm using today in my talk. One of them is E Squared by Pam Grout, and she talks very much about quantum physics. In fact, the whole book is basically about discovering how quantum physics works through our mental processing. And the other one is Ernest Holmes' This Thing Called You. And if, I don't know, I imagine most everybody here has at least seen it or read it a couple of times. Give me everybody read it? Okay, if you haven't, please do. It is basically what we're all about, but it's said in a way that that helps you connect. And one of the times when we studied it, because I've studied it many, many, many times, when you go into the book, don't read it as we are, read it as I am. For instance, there's on page 3, he says, your soul belongs to the universe. So when you're reading it, you say, my soul belongs to the universe. He says, your mind is an outlet through which creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. My mind is the outlet. It makes a big difference when you're reading it, to take it in that way and make it, inculcate it, make it yours. So there are a couple things I want to do. And what I do is I write thoughts down and then I share them with you. And so I do have that, but I also have something, and maybe Eloise would do this for me. I have these little stickers, and I think that, you know, this is Pride Month. And I'm going to share that in my talk, but I want us to be proud of ourselves right now, because each one of us here makes a difference. Makes a big difference. I'll hand it to you, yeah. So back in the, I think in the late 80s, there was a group of people that started what they called Who I Am Makes a Difference. I don't know if any of you have heard of it or not. But it basically was created to help children that were being bullied, thought less of for some reason or another. And so they came up with this idea that each one of us is special. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give this first one to Eloise and to tell you who you are makes a difference. And they have tape on the back so that you can take it off and stick it someplace on your being. And then I'd like to see, oh my goodness, there you go. I'd like to see everybody leave here knowing that they make a difference. And that we can take it in, I think there are extras here. If you go to the market, or you go to the gas station, or you go someplace in town, and somebody has really made a difference to you, say, you know, I'd like you to put this either on your car or on your shirt, someplace, and know that I know you make a difference in my life. You can make that person's day. I'm just going to have Eloise pass them around. I think we have enough here for everyone, and if you think of somebody that you really want to honor and you didn't get one, or you'd like more, I have more here for you. And so with that, as you take that, know from me, who you are makes a difference. So that's part of remembering who I am, because each of one of us can say that. It's never too late to remember who I am. So, well, you know, we grow up and we learn how to act in public. We mean to behave, but there are too many other options. So, I'm going to read some of my thoughts to you, and then we're going to do a little bit of a meditation in a minute a couple of minutes here. But what I'm hoping is that when we've heard this so many times and been involved in so much in our teaching in Science of Mind, it's easy to just listen and go, yeah, I know. Energy flows where attention goes and all that. And that's all great, but I want us today to take it in deeper and make it who we are. So today's Father's Day. And as we celebrate fathers, we are also celebrating Pride Month. I have my little rainbow heart on here today. This is also Pride Month. Now, pride in Webster's dictionary says, a feeling of pleasure, satisfaction derived from one's own achievements, accomplishments of those with whom one is closely associated. The second, and this is the one that I want us to go with today, the consciousness of one's own dignity. Since we already all know, since we're truly one, we all celebrate the consciousness that complements accomplishments, and recognize the achievements of those in our community as well. We are spiritually involved individuals, and we know our connection. So today, we celebrate that connection with pride. Ernest Holmes said, "You cannot plunge into the waters of life unless you take everyone else with you. The universe is one system." So in my spiritual path, I choose to be inclusive. And now the slide. And everything is energy. Energy connects everything. Energy carries information. The past, present, and future all exist simultaneously. Therefore, as energetic beings, we have access to the past, present, and future at one point in time via energy. All connects. Now, this is mostly a statement about intuition, but it also backs up with what Ernest Holmes said about being in the waters of life. So let's take a breath back. Let's honor the men, our fathers, and men who have served as fathers in our lives. These fathers may not have been biological fathers, but they offered the love, the support that made a difference. Some women may have held father positions too. Let's think of them as well. So I'd like us to go back into that, searching back in our consciousness about those people in our lives that served as father figures or a strong, good, masculine energy that brought us forward in some way in our life. So this is about a 6-minute meditation, and I'd like you to focus on that depth of love, that depth of caring. Who was that? It could be a woman too. So if you'll breathe in with me. And let's just go in another breath and take that breath all the way to the depth of our diaphragm. Breathe that in. And rest in this time of quiet and find that peace. that father figure brought to us. Knowing that there is pride and connection in that. Just breathe in again. Relax back into your chair. Be aware of your breathing as you go deeper and deeper in. Back into time. Maybe that figure's right here, right now. Even fathers that have passed on, they're still with us as well. A kind word. A dinner around a table. Changing a light bulb. Cuddling for a book. Answering a question. Singing a song. Telling a joke. Fixing a pedal on a bicycle. Turning the sprinklers on, watching the water. Running the lawnmower. Driving to the beach. Walking in a mountain path. Going out to dinner. Just breathe in. And celebrate. Celebrate this day. Now take a breath and join me back here. I'd like us to share. Anybody that had some nice memories that you can share with us.
Sure.
Anybody?
Yeah, sure.
Uh-huh.
Well, my dad passed away when I was little in the car accident, so I never had like a father figure, but, my daughter's grandpa from her dad's side, he's kind of been like a father figure in my life, especially, in my recovery from addiction. He would just sit down with me and like, maybe at first I'd watch a church sermon on his phone, and he's just always just been there for me and great for me. And he's a man of few words, so it just means a lot to me that he does talk to me and give me advice, and yeah, that's it. Nothing really profound.
I know everybody had something in their mind they can share. Sure, Eloise?
I thought about my father, who I really didn't know. My mother and father divorced when I was 6, and I think I saw him twice after that. And he had another family. And I met his daughter about 10 years ago, and we are now sisters. She lives in Ireland, and I've been there a couple of times to visit her, and she's been here a couple of times, but it was all like my father, who I never knew.
But what a nice connection.
Yes, it's so wonderful.
So those are what we're looking for. Not all of us had wonderful fathers, but we have figures in our lives that certainly would represent that masculine energy. No one else want to share?
I'll go.
Okay.
So, this meditation is a reflection of yesterday's.
Speak way up so everybody can hear you.
This is a reflection of yesterday, and it just brings it all forward. As I thank my biological father, as I thank my stepfather, as I thank my uncles for being the men that they were in my life, to give me what they have. The discipline, the values, the morals that I have found. Today being Father's Day, just makes me remember that they loved this little girl enough to make sure that she understood who she is and how she should be protected and loved and cared for. And they all did that. But on today, as Father's Day, my stepfather rings highest because he is the man who instilled the passion for baseball in my life at age 8. And it's a passion I still carry at age 65. So I'm eternally grateful.
Thank you. anything from, and then I remembered that he took 4 weeks of his vacation every summer and took us camping. And he and I in particular, and I just remember this yesterday, we would sit out in the dark and look up at the stars. And I still love that. I look up at the stars and like, oh, there's blah, 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 there's blah. And he taught me that stuff, and that's where we connected. And I remember that yesterday. Good. John?
Yeah, I have three, I think, and I can really think of one was my dad, and we did a lot of things together, but he was working a lot, so we didn't spend as much time as we wanted to, but the second one was my uncle who lived in Louisiana. He was my favorite uncle. I love that guy. He was a very smart person. Give me a little drink once in a while with him. And then the third person was a guy that I was dating his daughter. He was a truck driver. He was out all the time of the year, but when he was home, and after my father passed away in '66, now he kind of stepped in my stepdad. I feel like he would be my second dad.
That's right. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of emotion in connections with mothers and fathers because a lot goes on. It isn't just one little thing. So what I'm going to do, is there anyone else? I don't want anybody to not share that would like to share. Heather?
I have a pretty amazing father. He was a law enforcement man for 25 years. He worked as an actual beat cop at first, and then he was on Bunko Squad, and then he was a canine trainer. My dad spoke fluent German, which I never realized until I seen him working with the actual dogs. My dad had a very gentle side to him, but at the same time, as I talked to some of his buddies, my dad said, "Your actual dad was an actual wolf when he was working his job." At the very end, he turned out to be not just a detective, but he turned to be a forensics man and a homicide detective. So I grew up with my father being a very soft-spoken man. He didn't say a lot, but when he did have something to say, he was always right on the money. I grew up at a time when I grew up in Pomona where I realized that people that I knew were starting to really turn a little bit wicked. Some of them very evil. At one time, they even wanted me to join the gang so I could do drive-by shootings with them. But I realized from the teaching of my father, he always kept me on the straight and narrow, knowing that he wanted me not just to be a good person, but he used to always say, "Son, you were born on this planet not to hurt anyone, but to help them." Those are things I remember about my father and what he was doing. I didn't follow up with the whole law enforcement thing myself. It wasn't for me, and he lived to a good old ripe age of 90, and all the wisdom that I took from him, if I could just be half the man that he was, everything would be beautiful. Realizing he had the right things not only to say, but he had the knowledge of life to put me here at 62 to talk to you today.
Very good. Thank you. I'm going to go on with my notes because one of the things I want to do is make sure that when we leave today that we really feel that oneness and not just, anyhow, I'll read my notes. Recently I was thinking back in the times of COVID, and I remembered I gained much deeper understanding of my place in the universe at that time. I became more self-aware. And through this time, I found myself doing a lot of introspection. I thought about how we relate to one another. I thought a lot about separation. The separation we face day to day, how we see ourselves, we're trying to see ourselves as one, but when we are separated from one another by differences, men and women, old and young, rich and poor, differences in ethnicity, politics, being bisexual, gay, lesbian, transgender. There is even separation in locations of homes, states, countries, and where we choose to live. All these differences cause some of us to feel estranged from one another. And during the last days of COVID, I shared with everyone in the book, this thing called You. But as I read the book, I found myself having some aha moments. I guess one could say that I was lifted to a higher state of consciousness. I became aware of how we become separated by seeing differences. One belief being the only way perspective. It seemed to me that we could enjoy a much happier life if we could realize that even if we hold different perspectives, we are still truly one. So in my thinking, I found that separation existed from time beginning, men and women, and how they relate. And for some reason, I thought it all connected me to being one. So I'll share this thought with you. I started thinking about my old child development class way back when. It was years ago. And in that class, we studied the child from conception through childhood. And I remembered from the class how in nature, flowers, insects, bees, and mammals begin their development as female. In the human development, the fetus, from conception to about 7 or 8 weeks, is female. At a critical time, there's a significant change when a Y chromosome enters into the developmental process. The female development gives way and starts a new direction. The organs that are developing start to change. The uterus, descending in the body, eventually becomes the male organ. The ovaries start descending and become the testes. What an aha moment that was for me. And thinking about nature, and that proves that we truly are all one. We started at one place. And what better example could that be? What is even more moving to me is that wonderful female energy gives way to that Y chromosome so that the female has a mate. We are truly all one. We are of value to each other. In essence, we are one. Hence the importance of Father's Day. Ernest Holmes said, "Life is God's gift to you. It is always ready to manifest itself through you in its entirety." From this realization, I went on to thoughts of spirit working in the physical world, thoughts of creating another human being to host spirit. We are incarnate. Well, that started me thinking of the physical and spiritual world and how it connected. So back in this thing called You on page 89 and 90, Ernest Holmes said this: "When you say that your body is spiritual, you are not denying your physical body. The physical is included within and is part of the spiritual universe. You do not say, 'I have no eyes, no feet, or stomach.' They are part of your spiritual body as well. God's world is not an illusion but of realities. Everything that exists for the purpose of expressing life." Throughout my searching for answers, I discovered that there is no separation. We are part of one great vibratory force that's everywhere present. This presence is what we are. We are individualized expressions of one vibratory force that was created out of one presence and cannot be separated. We truly are one. So in conclusion, I know this connection to be complete, that we affect those everywhere with our vibrations. So I see us as all one. With pride and with dignity, we affect all. And I have this little quote from Pam Brown from E Squared, and she says, only in quantum physics the communication happens simultaneously. Anything that happens to one particle instantaneously communicates to the other. The field of potentiality simply followed the energy you sent out, and your thought vibrations draw their vibrations that match. The coincidences we see in our lives are just energy and the field of potentiality at work. So as we go on this week, I'm looking forward to all of us knowing our own pride, know who we are, no matter what we look like, no matter what differences we have hold, we are one, experiencing different parts of the whole. This is who I am. And can you say, know yourself, this is who I am. And now today we're experiencing that essence of fatherhood. We are one, and I wish all of the fathers happy Father's Day. And so it is.
And so it is.
I'm just gonna take a look at it. I want to thank you very much. And that was a really beautiful, spiritual, biological, it encompassed the whole world. Thank you. Now it's time for our offertory, and Gail, our usher, will come around and accept your gift, your tithe, your expression of love to God's center, because that's what this is. The center where you come to hear, to know, and to feel God's presence. And we'll be singing, I Am So Blessed. And I would love it if Brian could come and sing with us. Well, now it's time for the peace song. So we will all circle up, and I'm going to come down there.